is up and welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing a few thrift flips and I'm so excited to do this. If you haven't gone and seen last week's video, we did a little bit of thrift store shopping for some home decor pieces for my house that I'm going to be also styling in this video. So if you haven't gone and seen that, I will put it up in the cards and also down in the description box. But we got a bunch of pieces and I mentioned in that video that I wanted to flip a few things. One being a basket, which is going to be a little bit of a simple thrift flip. I basically am just spray painting it black, which fun fact, I've actually already done. Because yeah, we got some paint on our fingers if you notice that. But the other two things that we are going to be doing are two trays. So this video is mainly going to be focusing on thrift flipping trays, which I'm super excited about because trays are one of my favorite things to style in like home decor and stuff. So we have two trays that I showed you guys last week and I'm really excited to get into flipping them and making them a little bit more trendy and a little bit more my style. So without further ado, if you do want to see me thrift flip these two trays and also just spray paint a basket, then just keep on watching. Subscribe if you have yet to do so, and let's get into this video. Woo! So before I start any sort of thrift flip, I like to search for some inspiration on what I can do with the pieces that I've found, and my source of inspiration is always Pinterest. We love Pinterest on this channel so much. That is a great place for you to get inspiration for anything in your life, whether it is home decor or fashion or hairstyles or tattoos or workouts, anything like that. I definitely recommend checking out Pinterest. I've been getting a little bit more into Pinterest and stuff, and it's just a really good way to feel inspired and just come up with different ideas for different aspects in your life. So we first hopped onto Pinterest to get some inspiration for both of the trays. Obviously, I did not need inspiration for the basket because all I was doing with that was spray painting it black to match my kitchen to store all of our cookbooks in it. So that one was finished, but we did need some inspiration for both of the trays. So they are both very different trays, one having more of like the traditional tray style with the sides, and it is made out of wood. So I started by looking for inspiration for this, and what I quickly found was these kind of trays that people have put tiles in the bottom, and I love the look of this, especially the like really cool black and white modern Moroccan style tiles. I loved that so much. So that was kind of my inspiration when I went into shopping for the supplies for this DIY. I really just wanted to kind of do like a mosaic kind of tile feel for the wooden tray. So that is what we are doing for that. And then the other tray was more of like a flat rock or stone style tray. It's really textured and has this really cool modern simplistic style to it. So the only thing that I wanted to do with this was possibly add a little bit of some gold paint accents to it, maybe putting the gold around the edge or doing some sort of stencil on top or just like some stripes, something simple, or just like a big triangular chunk of gold. We will see what I end up doing, but I wanted to do that. And then I also wanted to add some handles on each side because I've seen a lot of really cute little trays with the handles on each side just to kind of make it look like it's useful. Obviously it'll just be sitting kind of more as a like decor piece, but I do really want to add those handles just to make it look a little bit more like a tray and not so much just like a platter, if you guys know what I mean. So those were my inspiration for the two trays, and I'm super excited to get into the next step, which is going shopping. So once I had the inspiration and idea for both of these trays, we headed over to Home Depot, where I started in the tile aisle, which I had quite a hard time trying to find exactly what I was picturing in my head, and unfortunately there weren't any like mosaic tiles. I found a lot of the black and white sort of modern mosaic tiles, but unfortunately they were too big, and I did have very specific measurements of the tray that that I had. And also I did not have any sort of access to any of like the saws that you can use to cut tiles. So there was no way for me to make those tiles fit into the tray unless they were absolutely perfect. So I did look at some of the larger ones that you could cut down and sort of things like that. I did find some circle tiles that I figured I could cut down, but they did end up being a little bit more expensive than I wanted them to be, and also I would have had to purchase some grout as well in order to place them in the tray and have them stay and fill in all of the spaces in between them. So I decided to pass on the tile sort of idea, and I ended up in the paint aisle, obviously because I needed to buy some black spray paint for the basket. And I found these stencils. So they did have a stencil that was hexagons, and I figured I could use this stencil with just some simple white paint that I already had at home to kind of give an illusion of a tile on the tray without physically actually getting tile and putting it in the tray. So in the end, I did end up picking up the stencil and some spray adhesive to put on the stencil, and we're going to kind of give the illusion of having hexagon tiles without actually having to buy tiles and buy grout and do all of that. So I'm really excited for that. And then the second tray was the idea of putting the handles and also some gold details. So I picked up some gold, just a little bottle of gold paint. I'm hoping the paint is okay quality and it does have quite a bit of saturation because I am going to be painting this gold onto a black tray. So fingers crossed with that. It was only $3, but I'm hoping it is okay. And then second off with that tray, I wanted to add some handles to the sides like I told you guys. So I wanted to make sure that the handles match the gold that I picked out for the paint. So we went to the hardware aisle and found some, they're supposed to be like kitchen poles, but I'm going to be using them for the tray and just attaching them to the stone kind of tray with a adhesive of some sort and hoping that it will stick enough. Obviously I'm not going to be lifting the tray with these handles. It's just going to be more for decor. So I'm hoping that just some simple construction adhesive will do the task that I needed to. So that is everything that I ended up picking up. I did get some black spray paint as well for the basket. I just got some simple, I believe I got Rust-Oleum or a different kind, but it's just, you know, your typical black, flat black spray paint that can adhere to plastic, wood, any sort of thing like that. So that is everything that I picked up from Home Depot, and then we headed back home, and now it is time to actually do the thing. Without further ado, let's get into these thrift flips, and let's hope they go well. Okay, so let's get to DIYing some things. We're starting off with the easiest one, which is the basket. I just pulled out the black spray paint that I purchased from Home Depot and spray painted the poop out of this basket and set it aside to dry. It was super easy. This is like one of my top things I love to do when it comes to thrift flipping things. It's just spray paint it black, guys. Just spray paint it black. That's all I have to say. Or white. White's good too. But moving into the second one, this is the first of the two trays. This one was a little bit more expensive at $7.99, but I knew exactly what I wanted to do when I saw the texture around the outside of the tray. This tray is beautiful, and it just reminded me so much of the like gold trimmed coasters and stuff like that. And so you guys saw that I decided to buy some gold paint and just paint the trim to really show the texture, like I mentioned, of the tray. So again, this was such an easy DIY, and the paint was only $3. It was great quality, and it ended up turning out really, really well. So that is the finished product of the gold trimming, and then the only other thing I had to do was stick the handles to the tray. So these handles here were about $5 each. The gold is not exactly the same, but honestly, I do not really care. It still looks absolutely beautiful. If I was to put another layer of the gold on the trim, I feel like it would get a little bit darker, but for now, I think this is beautiful and I love the way that it turned out. Moving into the next DIY, this is the wooden tray. This was only $2.99, which was amazing, and I just used some white paint actually wall paint that I already had from painting our house, and I just went ahead with a kitchen sponge and just dabbed that onto the stencil. And you guys will see in a second that the stencil definitely didn't work as well as I wanted it to. I think if I had some stencil adhesive, this would have worked a lot better, but you guys can see that a lot of the paint got into the areas where the paint was not supposed to. But I was like, you know what, I can work with it. I can try a little bit of a lighter hand on the second one and see if I can somehow make it work with maybe some sandpaper to make it look a little bit more worn. But I didn't really feel like this was working out, so I ended up just scrapping the whole tile idea and just painting the entire bottom. And you guys will see in a sec what I ended up doing. But the nice thing is that I feel like if I really wanted to in the future, I could go with the tile kind of inspiration again. I'll just need to go somewhere else and maybe look a little bit more for the black and white mosaic tile that I was picturing in my mind. So maybe we'll do that at a later date, and I'm really excited about that. Okay, so it is now the next day, and you guys have seen that I've been working on the second tray. The first tray is all done. It's just sitting right there. I don't know why I'm doing all these DIYs in this room, but it's just the room that has like the best lighting because of this big window here. But anyways, I've been working on this wooden tray, and you guys would have seen that the whole like stencil thing was kind of a failure. I don't know if it did mention something about like stencil adhesive, but I was super worried. I did end up getting like a spray adhesive, but I ended up seeing on the bottle that it was like permanent, like really good adhesive, and I didn't want the stencil when I like took it up to rip off any of the black paint, because I think someone has actually painted this tray already. I think it used to be like a gold color and they painted it black. So what I've decided is we're gonna ditch the whole stencil thing. I ended up, like you guys saw, just painting the entire bottom. I still need to do a second coat, but I think we're just going to paint the bottom white, and I'm thinking I might do some sort of like quote on it. I might go downstairs and design a little stencil with my like own printer paper, not like my printer paper, but my label paper. I'm gonna do that and maybe do like a little cute quote on the bottom in black or something. I don't know. I think what I'm going to do is, while this first coat is drying, I'm going to take a look on Pinterest again and kind of switch up my inspiration. This is something that happens a lot with like DIYs and stuff, just things you try sometimes that don't work out. So I'm going to look for some more inspiration, see what we can come up with, and then we will go from there. So I'll see you guys when we come up with something different. So like I mentioned, I really wanted to try to find some new inspiration for the tray because the tile idea did not work. I decided to kind of go with a minimal kind of word tray. So you guys can see here that I'm on Photoshop and we are just writing home. I tried to find a really gorgeous kind of handwritten script font. I printed it out and I should have just made it a stencil, but I was a little bit worried that the sticker paper, if I placed it on the slightly still wet white paint, it would then just peel off the white paint. So what I decided to do was just engrave over the paper, not so much the sticky part, but just in general the paper. And it ended up making an indent in the wet paint, and I was able to go from there with a pen, outline, and then you guys can see here that we are painting it with some black paint that again I had left over from our walls. So that is what ended up happening with this. I love this so much. It's so simplistic and definitely my style. Now it is time to get to the fun part, and that is styling all of these new pieces that we got from the thrift store. I'm so excited about this. If you saw my kitchen declutter video, you knew that I wanted to redecorate and kind of just move things around, refresh things in my kitchen and dining room area. So you guys can see here that we are taking a few pieces that we got from the thrift store. I took this scale here, I did wipe it down and make it look nice and new again. And we are just restyling the shelves above my coffee station, coffee bar, and also just below it as well. So I'm not going to talk through all of this, but I'm so excited to restyle this area, restyle my kitchen, and then we are going to show you guys how I styled the 2 trays that I thrift flipped. So hopefully you guys enjoy seeing me just refresh my space, and yeah, that is everything for now. So we are now coming to the end of the video, and I'm so excited to show you guys how I styled both of these trays. One being in the rec room here. I love the way this looked. It is so beautiful, so simple, so my style. And with the greenery, it is beautiful. And then the other one I just styled in the guest bedroom. It's gorgeous and feminine, but that is everything for this video. I love you guys so much. Remember, you are somebody's reason to smile, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.